Well, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. This is Bill Bullock, and I'm coming to you live again this morning from the Biblical Lifestyle Center in Texarkana, USA. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shabbat Shalom to you all. And may we today share a beautiful time on the Holy One's precious Sabbath. May we remember, guard, and treasure this day, and may we find in it the blessing and the holiness the Creator of the universe spoke over the seventh day of creation. And may it wash over us, cleanse us, purify us, and reposition us in exactly where we need to be. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you're with me and you have a moment, just drop your name and the location from which you're watching or listening. And even if you're not doing it on the actual morning of this broadcast, let me know who's picked up later and joined with us, and I'll be happy to acknowledge you and thank you for that. We are entering into the 19th of the 54 installments of this 5785 series, the 5785th year from creation as it's regularly counted, is upon us. And for this year, we have a theme called Walking in the Light. As we go about learning our Torah, learning our messages and instructions from on high, we have called this one Walking in the Light. We sense that we are indeed walking in the Creator's light. We're walking in the warmth and the energy and the impetus of that light. So thank you for joining us. The subtitle for our series this year is Discovering the Secret Wisdom Encoded Within Torah's Timeless Stories. We are looking at the Torah this year through the eyes of children listening to a grandfather type or a patriarch telling stories that tell us who we are and why we're here and what our mission in life is all about. So welcome, welcome, welcome to portion number 19, Terumah. The address for this study, if you want to grab your Bibles, is Exodus chapter 25, verse 1. That's where it starts. And it goes all the way through Exodus 27, verse 20. Now, this is a time that the storyteller would keep us reminded that we are at Camp Sinai, the training center for the Am Segillah, the special treasure people, the kingdom of priests, and the holy nation of the creative universe is encamped around the base of Mount Sinai. That's where we start. That's where we've been for the last couple of weeks, and we'll be here for 11 and a half months. In the Torah scrolls, count of timing, we won't leave until Numbers chapter 10. All that's happening here is setting the pattern for the relationship between the creator of the universe and mankind, specifically through his special treasure people, the B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel. Well, we are learning that at Mount Sinai, amazing things are happening, and we are invited every year to relive those things, to experience them afresh as if they were happening for the first time. As we read the Torah, as we read the instructions, as we read the stories, the great storyteller is beckoning to us from across the ages. Come with me to the times that this took place. These are eternal stories, and reoccur in each of your lifetimes, in each of your generations. So we are learning that at Mount Sinai, the secret of the place and the secret to our mission, which we're being taught here, is Creator speak. The very words spoken in the very voice with the special heavenly tone, the true tone of the Creator. He is speaking again. Not since the Garden of Eden has he spoken at this level, with this frequency, at this depth, talking to his beloved creature man, the one he has placed in charge of the great ecosystem that he designed. So welcome to the secret of Sinai, Creator speak. At Sinai, here at this mountain in the desert, apart from the prying eyes of the world, the Creator of the universe has started to reopen the lines of communication and cause a bleed over between the realms of the Hashemayim realm, the heavens as it's called in the King James Version, and the Haaretz realm, or the earth realm as it's called in the King James Version. These two realms have not communicated very well over the past centuries, even with little exceptions through Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, And now with Moshe, now it's about to expand, and we're starting to see the lines of communication and bleed over between the two realms take place in a fantastic fashion. Not since the pre-fall Garden of Eden levels have we seen this level of divine communication, divine speech, creator speak. Why is he doing all this? Why suddenly is the air filled with the sound of the voice of the Creator? Why are his words all we're reading in the Torah scroll? There's no narrative, there's no discussion, there's no dialogue. It's just red letter words of the Creator of the universe on the scroll of Torah. All throughout Parsha Terumah, and the next week in Parsha Tetzaveh, we have nothing besides Creator speak. It is coming fast. It is coming furious. It is coming wonderfully and beautifully, and it is touching the deepest parts of our soul. Welcome to Sinai. Welcome to this story of Terumah and following with Tetzaveh. Now, why is he doing all this right now? Why is his Creator speak coming at such a great, powerful volume? So that he can introduce, the Creator can introduce to us and inaugurate the next phase of his grand plan for the redemption of mankind as a species, bloodline by bloodline, household by household, family by family, as many as will come to the sound of his voice, and for the grand plan also of restoring creation to its original intended state of beauty and fruitfulness and shalom. He wants to introduce the next phase of it, and the only way to do that is through deluging us, bombarding us, as it were, with Creator speak. Well, the subject of the download that he's giving to us, the Creator speak download that he's giving to us now, is about to shift. There are two main focuses. Three, if you want to look at it that way. Three main focuses, let's say. And I'll tell you the first main focus of mankind is to learn to relate to his Creator in a positive and in a transformative way. The second thing, the main focus of Torah, is how man can relate to his fellow man. How man will relate to and love his neighbor, how man will overcome the enmity toward his enemy and begin to actually love and bless his enemy as well. And so this issue of one, our relationship with the Creator, and then two, the relationship with our fellow man. And I mentioned there's a third, and that third is our relationship, our interactions, our stewardship of the physical earth, the space that we've been given to occupy, the ecosystem we've been given to maintain and steward. How are these three focuses? Well, in Parsha Terumah and again in Parsha Tetzaveh, we're going to focus on primarily one of those three focuses. And that one focus is going to be our relationship with the Creator. How is your relationship with the Creator? How is your conversation going? How is your collaboration with Him going? How close do you feel you are to Him? How much are you caught up into His realm, and into His mind, and into His thoughts? How close are you? How aligned are you with His will? This is the issue we're going to talk about in Parsha Terumah and Tetzaveh. The Holy One knows there are obstacles, there are hindrances to our closeness and our relationship with it and our collaboration with Him. He knows that. He is not oblivious to that fact. And He desires to bridge the gap, to come and help us overcome those obstacles and those hindrances to interacting with Him, communing with Him, co-laboring with Him, and sharing the mission that He has designed for us to fulfill. So He is going to talk to us for 2 solid weeks about virtually nothing besides our relationship with Him. It doesn't just happen by virtue of some experience we've had in religion. It doesn't just happen by virtue of a prayer we pray sometime. It doesn't just happen. While we may experience something we call salvation or deliverance by virtue of one of those experiences or one of those prayers, we may or may not. But if we do, that does not mean that the rest of relationship with the Creator of the universe and the fullness of what that's supposed to mean is free. We must invest. We must engage. We must pursue. We must be led in disciplines to be able to take that to its furthest point. And so here we are. We've learned how to navigate the thorn and thistle world without losing all of our shalom and our simcha. Amen. We did that last week in Parsha Mishpatim, especially in the first 3 chapters 21, 22, 23 of Exodus, and the Mishpatim discourse. And now we're ready to move on to the beauty and the holiness of home. Home is not a place. Home is Him. Home is the Creator himself. Home is whenever we feel completely unified with him. And we are completely unified in thought and mind and will and emotion and action with him and priority with him. Here we go, the beauty and holiness of home. Home involves his throne room, his courts, his chambers, and his workstations. He has all these things. This is part of our discipline of getting home, is knowing how to get to his throne room. We have to go through his courts and his chambers. To go through his courts and his chambers, we must go through his workstations. And we must experience and draw down at least some of the healing energy that emanates usward from each of those workstations. The healing rooms of the tabernacle is what we're going to be talking about. And the workstations where the healing takes place. The traumatic healing takes place at the workstations of the tabernacle. We're supposed to be catching shadows of Eden. Yes. Do you remember Eden? Is it in your in your spiritual memories, your neshama memory? We're supposed to be catching visions of Mashiach, the ultimate plan of Mashiach stepping in the gap and taking us into the kingdom and helping us administer the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Are you getting shadows and images and fleeting tones of your kingdom come and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven? That's what Parsha Terumah and Parsha Tetzaveh following are designed to give us. So this week, the focus of our studies, our mind renewal, revival, shifting, is going to go to the next level. We're going to have the Holy One speak to us in ways that will reawaken the vast and untapped reservoirs of unpolluted imagination and creativity and potential that we had back in the Garden of Eden before the fall. Remember Adam? Remember him being able to declare the purpose of every creature that the Holy One brought before him, how he was given the gift to kill, to tend, and to keep, to till, to serve the soil of the garden and the trees and the species of the earth. You remember that? That's what he wants to reawaken and retap the vast, untapped recently reservoirs of unpolluted imagination and creativity and potential. But these have been dormant since the time of the fruit fall. And we are now being called upon in Parsha Terumah and the next few chapters of Torah to visualize and live in constant awareness of things that are unseen by fallen human eyes. The aperture of the realms, these things that are unseen by fallen human eyes, but which are the essential eternal foundation stones of the kingdom of heaven. Welcome, one and all, to a series of studies on the beauty realm of our King, home for us. You see, our new home headquarters that we're going to be given the vision for is true north to us. It's true tone for us. It's where we belong. It's what we were made for. And we are just deployed and dispatched in the earth to take that true tone and that true north into the world. So this is the place here in Parsha Terumah and Mount Sinai, in this Camp Sinai training camp. This is where we come for training. We come for assignment. We come for briefing. We come for promotion. We come to get the rules of engagement with the world and the corrective disciplines that we will need for ourselves and for teaching to others. The disciplines of healing, the workstations and the protocols of healing and forgiveness and spiritual nutrition and inspiration and empowerment and revelation and vision. This is where we're going. And the tabernacle design is the medium the Holy One is going to use. And his Creator speak in Parsha Terumah. The tabernacle design is the medium he's going to use to draw us into his presence. Consider yourself invited and consider yourself being drawn. Let go into the holy realm, in the beauty realm, in the tabernacle design, and find true self. The tabernacle design is revealed by the Holy One this week in Torah, and it's going to lay out for us a pathway according to which we can ascend and go past and go to all the essential stations at which we align and commune with the Holy One. Think of Jacob's ladder. Jacob's ladder, it's called in the King James Version. Think of Yaakov's staircase, the vision he saw with angels ascending and descending, and at the top, at the very highest pinnacle of the staircase, the ladder, as it's called in the English translations many times. At the very top, what was there? What seated there was the throne and the persona of the creator of the universe. And so we're seeing this elevation, this rise, this idea of ascending into the courts, into the presence, carrying things with us when we go, and carrying things with us when we come back, like the angels, the messengers of the Holy One in that vision. So, once we attach ourselves to the divine guide, who is Messiah Yeshua, he will be played in this series of events in the next two parshas by Aaron and his sons. They will be our placekeepers for Messiah. But once we have attached ourselves to the divine guide, to Messiah Yeshua, we just follow him and we just do the things that he does. What we see him doing, that we do. We follow him where he goes. We do what he does. You see, he is sparking within the inner man of each one of us, of you and me. He is touching where the divine sparks of eternity reside in our neshamas. And he is calling us into a procession up to and through the way, the curtain of entry, coming into the beauty realm. Come up here, he says. And once we're there, all the things we will see. Let's start with our call to worship. Let us prepare our hearts and our minds by singing the Baraku, the blessing, before reading from the Torah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amin V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. And now may you open our eyes, O Holy One, that we may see wondrous things in your Torah. For we are just strangers in this earth. So please do not hide your instructions for living from us. Now let's all gather around, children of the Most High, with the Torah scroll or the Bible in front of you. Oh, gather around, children of the Most High. It's story time. Again, let's go into the stories of Torah. Last week, Moshe was taken up on the top of Mount Sinai. He was introduced to steps 1 and 2 of the Holy One's grand plan for renewing the human beings' corrupted minds and fixing the brokenness of human souls, and also of the world and the people in it. The first part of that was the Mishpatim Discourse, chapters 21, 22, and 23, in which he introduced us to viewing the world through redemption and restoration approach and protocols rather than vengeance and anger and retribution and punishment of a viewpoint. He taught us that in 3 chapters. It was very important we learn. We live in a fallen world, a messed up world, and we're not here to judge it. We're not here to condemn it. We're not here to cast blame or cast labels of accusation or condemnation. We're here to fix it, to come up with a plan of redemption and restoration that will go through family lines and bloodlines and generations and geographical regions and send shockwaves of healing throughout those things. And it will not look like the world's vengeance or the world's idea of justice fight. It will look like healing and restoration over a course of time. So the first thing he taught us last week, taught Moshe last week, was the Mishpatim Discourse. And the next thing he taught, he put in his Torah, the story he told was of the throne room ascent, the narrative of realm travel, the first realm travel. And Moshe went up into 3 levels. He first went up into the mountain itself, and then he went to the place where he took 74 of his brethren, 74 altogether went up there, and they saw the sapphire, the sefer, the writings of the Hebrew on the base under which the very presence of the Holy One sat, and was like fire burning, and they ate and drank and were not harmed in any way in the second heaven realm. And then Moshe was called individually to the third realm heaven. We saw last week at the end of the parsha, he ascended alone into the great cloud of fire and storm and sound, and then fire flashed, and he disappeared from our view. That's where we pick up our story. In our story, the Holy One is going to take us into that realm, that beauty realm, and show us what is there. He is going to let Moshe model realm travel for us. We're all supposed to learn the secrets of realm travel, but Moshe is our model, our snow globe model to show us how it's done. So, in the Parsha Mishpatim, as we've said, acting on the Holy One's invitation, Moshe girded up his loins. He took his staff in his hand, and he climbed to the top of the crest of Sinai. And there something happened. And he was admitted to and shown the private chambers of the Holy One, the Creator of the universe. And now Moshe is fully engaged in the first of two 40-day seasons of transcendent vision. The Sinai experience will consist primarily and will be labeled, created around, formed around, shaped around two 40-day seasons of transcendent vision. This is the first. Moses just engaging it first. And these 40-day seasons of transcendent vision will each give revelation downloads to us that are going to define the Sinai experience for and in all generations. So this week, what do we find in this first 40-day season of transcendence, of transcendent revelation? We have the beginnings of what I call the Mishkan Discourse. The Mishkan Discourse. Mishkan is a Hebrew word that's often translated as tabernacle. It means to dwell, to stay, to abide, to reside. The Mishkan Discourse. Exodus 25:1. And it goes on through two parshas. Now, I call this entire series by another name. I like to attach names that help me to remember what this is all about, what the sequence, what the purpose of it all is. So I call this the tent maker's dream. This revelation we're receiving is a vision that has had and been in the heart of the Creator from the very beginning. He's designed a tent for himself to dwell upon the earth. He has designed for all the creation to be like unto a tent for himself and his friends. So, I point you to Isaiah 40, verse 22. And it says that, speaking of the Creator, he sits above the seer of the Haaretz, and its inhabitants are to him like leapers, like grasshoppers. They're trying to reach that level, but they just can't seem to get there, in other words. And he, that's the Holy One, stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and he spreads them out like a tent to shevet in, to rest in, to abide in, to stay in. Well, our next great training assignment at Mount Sinai is going to be introduced with these words. Two different verses in chapter 25. The first one is, take a terumah. Take a terumah. We're going to be introduced to a new term, terumah. So we're supposed to, something you take in hand. Take in hand a terumah. What did Moshe take up the mountain with him when he realm traveled? He took his staff, his rod. Take a terumah, something that allows us to elevate and we can take with us and we won't go empty-handed. Take a terumah, he says. And the second major statement, the main theme of the parsha is going to be a few verses later. Build and make for me a mikdash. Another term that we're being introduced to, which we had terumah, now mikdash. And in English it may say sanctuary in your King James Version or your different translations. It may say a holy place. But make for me, build for me, unto me, a mikdash. Make of me a mikdash. You can translate it in so many ways. The idea is there's a holy, mikdash comes from the verb kadash, the noun kadosh, the adjective kodesh. The idea here is that we're finding that kedusha, the energies of heaven, are coming into earth. Make me a place where the energies, the frequencies, the power sources, the ingenuity and the wisdom and the goodness of heaven can translate its way into earth, can pass through a portal to come and make me a place for that. Take a terumah and build me a mikdash. So he the idea we're getting is communion with the creator of the universe, collaboration with him, and his plan is to actually bring heaven to earth. Not the way you may think about it from a religious standpoint, from the standpoint of practicality, where actually his energy and his words are being broadcast into the world and having their desired effect without the resistance of man. So bringing the wholeness of the Hashemayim realm. And remember the creation, the first day of creation, he made the Hashemayim, the Haaretz, the heavens and the earth. Two realms that were combined and functioning together at the time, all the way through the Garden of Eden. Though they were separate, the realms, they were still conjoined and still functioning together. But now, after the garden, after the fall, and what's been complicated by the tower, complicated by so many factors, but now we have a complete disconnect between Hashemayim and Haaretz realms. He's going to fix that. He has a vision. He has a dream. He has a tent maker's dream to put it all back together in proper alignment and place. So he has a vision. He has a dream. He's going to call for investment from us, as he's going to make an investment from his perspective. He is going to submit himself into earthly form. He is going to show himself in earthly phenomenon, as he has already begun to do with the miracles and the signs and wonders of the Exodus. So the vision and the dream is going to be followed by an investment, his part and our part. Terumah will be our investment. He's going to be giving us a blueprint for what this Mikdash is supposed to look like, and what its component parts are. He's going to give us specification sheets and material lists that will help us to understand what will help us to align the heavens and the earth. There are certain parts of the earth that were pre-existing. Gold, for instance, was there in the Garden of Eden. Was just there. Oh, so was onyx stone. And we see those references where the four rivers came out from the garden. The gold and the onyx. These will be part of our connection. These and the thing we're supposed to build, according to the blueprint and the specifications, is supposed to be closely aligned with and allow conjunction with the heavenly realm. And so, in addition to that, we're going to be given avodah, or service, or worship, service, and protocols, courtiership protocols. There are two real parts to this Mishkan discourse, this stunning Creator Speak download that talks about his vision, his tent maker's dream. The first part will be this week, and it's Parsha Terumah, and this is the blueprint sheets for the structure he wants us to build, the portal, the bridge that he wants us to build between the heavens and the earth realms. And to the structure itself, and the structure is to have 3 healing rooms, 3 healing areas. And each one has its purpose, and none can be ignored, and none is inferior to another. Each is a necessary source of healing for mankind as we enter Yaakov's staircase and begin to ascend toward the holiest realm. There are 3 healing rooms, but there are all 6 workstations within those 3 healing rooms. And each of those workstations, again, has a purpose and a function and does a part of the healing protocols. And as we engage with each of those workstations through our meditations, through our conversations, through our study, through our thought processes, and through our communication with the Holy One, as we go through these 6 workstations, we find healing is taking place. Trust the process. The Holy One knows what he's doing, and he knows what it takes to get us into a place of communion and fellowship with him. So that's part 1. Blueprint for the structure, the outlay for the 3 healing rooms, and the definition of most of those 6 workstations. Actually, we're going to have a couple of those come back later. Part 2 will be next week in Parshat Tetzaveh. I won't go into much detail, but it's going to talk about human resources, and it's going to talk about avodah, service protocols. So let's read. Let's get to the Torah. What is the storyteller telling us today? Read with me. Vayadabar Adonai el Moshe lemor, and the Holy One then spoke to Moshe, and he said, Daber et bnei Israel, vayekuli terumah, and tell bnei Israel to take in hand, gather unto me and for me a terumah. We'll define that term in a moment. Me'et kol ish asher yivenu libo, from each man whose heart longs and desires and wants to give. Tikehu et terumati. you are to gather, take in hand my terumah. That's how it starts. It's terumah. And from those who are of the willing heart, who want to give, who long hunger to give. And he says, this is the terumah. What does the terumah consist of? What are we talking about a terumah? We'll get to the details of the definition, but what does it consist of? These things you were to take in hand from them, Moshe, gold, zahav in Hebrew, silver, kesef in Hebrew, bronze, nekoshet in Hebrew, could be copper. It's very difficult to understand exactly whether it's bronze or copper at this stage. And then 3 levels of coloring, of dye, that match the colors of the heavens and have certain frequencies to each one that are derived from light. There's the blue, the techelet. There's the purple, the argamot, and the scarlet, the tola. And then there are 4 fabrics, the fine linen from the flax plant, and the goat's hair from the flocks, and the ram skins dyed red from the flocks, and the badger skins are actually, we won't get into detail about what that is. It's a special kind of a skin covering. And then the etzeh shittim, the wood, a special kind of wood that was used in the ark that Noah made. This very special kind of wood that has a certain frequency to it that corresponds with the life of heaven. And also oil, shemen, olive oil for the light, the or, and for spices for the anointing oil and for the sweet incense. And here we go, onyx stones, which were mentioned, like I say, in Genesis 3, and 2 and 3, and stones to be set in the ephod. The priest, the high priest, the personnel coverings, the ephod, and the hosein, the breastplate. Well, then we get to the primary passage. After the 15 requested subject matter of the terumah are given, then the purpose passage is given. Exodus 25, 8 through 9. Here it goes. You ready? This is our purpose. This is our calling. This is our mission. The asu li mikdash. Have them build, form, shape, cause to become functional. A kadosh, a holy space, a sacred space. Yeshakanti bechtokim. That I may dwell, tabernacle, abide in and amongst them. The asuli mikdash, the shakanti bechtokim. Have them build, make shape for me, cause to be functional for me, a holy sacred space of kedusha energy, free flowing, in order that I may be able to shakan, to dwell, to abide, to tabernacle in, amongst, and with them. Kikol asher mare oteka, according to all that I show you. Et tavnit mishkan, as the pattern and the blueprint for the abiding place that we're talking about. Kol kelav ken ta'asu, just in those ways, according to that pattern, you are to build it. I'm going to skip forward a little bit so you can get an idea of what the fullness of this terumah download is. To chapter 25, verse 22. The Holy One then continues in that passage. He says, V'no'ad ki lach sham, and I will commune with you there. Reveal myself and be revealed to you there. V'dibarti itka, and I will speak with you. Me'al ha'kaporet, from above the covering, the mercy seat as it's called. Mi'bein shnei ha'devarim, ha'keruvim, but from between the 2 cherubim, asher alaron ha'edut, that are on the ark of the testimony, et kol asher atzave otka, about everything that I will charge you. Wow. He wants us to take a terumah for him, something that will be our investment into this grand Yacobian staircase climb that we're going to do, to commune with him, to learn who he is, to walk with him, to build our relationship with him, and let him build in us the persona that he designed us to carry. And then he's going to have us to build for him a Mishkan where he can dwell in our midst, where he can be with us, to guide us, to shepherd us. Be with us to watch over us. Be with us to encourage us, to inspire us. Be with us to even to discipline us as necessary whenever we stray away from. And then that he may meet with us and teach us and train us, and that he may speak to us from above the mercy seat between the two cherubim that are on the ark of the testimony, and give us all of his charges. Oh, whew. Well, welcome, dear friends, to the great beauty realm revealed, the ultimate meditation guide, scriptural meditation guide. Meditating on the Torah involves meditating on the tabernacle, the great beauty realm revealed. It is the ultimate meditation guide that goes according to Scripture for those who seek to understand and operate in the kingdom of heaven and its protocols and bring its plan into being upon the earth. This is where we meet the Holy One. So our initial assignment this week is to develop a personal fascination, beloved. A personal fascination with the unseen realm called Hashemayim, the realm where he sits enthroned, and he is at the center of it all. A personal fascination with him and with his throne and with his sphere of influence. And to cultivate a powerful passion for that realm, for that place, for that persona that sits on that throne, for him as a persona. And to absorb then and to begin to emit and reflect the Kedusha energy and brilliant light of his countenance, of the unseen realm of divine emanation, the Torah calls Hashemayim, the heavens. And doing so, to make a commitment, beloved, are you ready? What's our commitment? To build a portal and a bridge in our lives, of our lives, that will reconnect the Hashemayim and Haaretz realms after the pattern again of God, Eden, the Garden of Eden. We, as a nation, as a people, as a called out and redeemed community, are called to open this portal between the realms, to know the way, and to be able to teach people the way, and to establish and maintain and guard a functional bridge that allows people to transition between the realms. We should be masters of the ascent and the descent of the realms, and we should be able to teach others to do so, and model what it looks like to be able to go into and out of and be courtiers within the realms of the creator of the universe, his throne room, and his four living creatures, and his 24 elders, and his cherubim, and his seraphim, and his host of angels, and his saints of the ages. We should be able to be as comfortable there and as well disciplined there as we are as we come back to the earth to share those visions and the wisdom that we learn there with the people of the earth. Well, we are here to make a habitation for the creator universe and to make ourselves and our nation a useful vessel of service. What do the tabernacle chapters mean? It seems esoteric sometimes. People want to just throw us away, say, well, this is just part of a clerical, some kind of a different part of Torah that we can do away with. It's all ceremonial. Don't fall down that trap, beloved. The Holy One's trying to teach you something here. He's trying to give you some eternal pictures, images. He's trying to draw you into his beauty realm. And no, it won't make sense to a lot of people that you think are intelligent because they're just too pseudo-intelligent. They just have too much worldly wisdom and not enough heavenly wisdom. We must be familiar with his chambers and his persona and the rules of his court. So here we are. For 17 straight parshas, we're going to be building all of our discussions around the tabernacle. This place that is more real to us than any building or any location on the earth. This place is in our hearts and in our minds. And one day again we'll be built upon the earth, but right now it's not here. But we become the stand-in for the tabernacle that's to come, the temple that will be built, and the great Messianic kingdom to come. 17 straight parshot, 1/3 of the Torah. 53 long chapters will be built around and focus upon this and center upon this structure and learning the details and the disciplines of having a regular communion of fulfilling, healing communion protocol with the Holy One. If we are to serve as diplomats of heaven's King, you see, we must know how to climb Yaakov's staircase and realm travel. We're going to be doing basically realm docking, reconnection and docking, like the space, the spaceships or something that dock. You see all this on simulation, basically, and the two ships coming in orbit, and they come together, and they reach close to each other. They adjust each other, their speed, and their spin, and their course until they're right face to face, and then there's the locking. There is the interlock, and the docking protocol is followed. That's what we're going to be doing. The two realms are going to dock, and we're going to be playing a part, a role in that. First thing we have to do is get the awareness of the other realm. We sometimes think this world is all there is, that the material world and the political world and the economic realm and the wars and rumors of wars is really all that's important and all there is. That ideology is really critically important. We have this illusion or this delusion because we are unable to see the truth that there is another realm, a higher realm that is supposed to be aligning with us, but we have to make a portal of connection. So other realm awareness and aspiring to connect with it. Do you have an answer? Do you want to connect with that unseen realm? Do you want to climb Yaakov's staircase, Jacob's ladder? Do you want to go to the top? Do you want to hit the messages from above and carry them back to earth? Well, this is the first step. The second step is make a rendezvous mission. We got to really go somewhere. We can't leave where we are and begin to engage with this journey, a launch, an orbit, an approach. And that approach involves changing course, direction, speed, focus, begin to adjust to the higher realms speed. And the fourth thing is to align the realms, to actually dock, to meet. Well, in this case, there's a tree of life that's been hidden from us. The way has been covered by a cherub. We have to go and engage that cherub and allow the cherub to do what's necessary to admit us to that next sphere. We'll learn a lot about that in Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, the Korbanot discourse. But for right now, just understand there will have to be a way of dealing with this cherub that has a flashing sword and guards the way to the tree of life. But once we get to the realm docking protocol, and we go through this protocol, we see an interface methodology. We get the NASA's people call it connect, contact, and capture. There's a multiple points of connection required. And these are the 6 workstations of the tabernacle. There are 6 different levels at which we're supposed to connect. Each one must be connected before there can be effective realm travel and communion between the two realms. And then we have passcode authorization protocols. Certain things we do say, we don't say. Certain places we do go, we don't go. And we have the pass-through and communion covenantal rules of respect and decorum, cooperation, collaboration, and service. That's a lot to think about as we go about this week studies and next week studies. We are learning a lot, but we have much more to learn. Before we get too deep into that learning, understand that what we're being challenged to realize is there are 2 different approaches that man can take to mortal life. 2 different approaches that man can take to mortal life. The most common approach, the one that most of us know well and is most prevalent in the world, is the way or the approach of the raging nations and vain imagination obsessed people. Why do the nations rage? The peoples imagine a vain thing. The essence of this approach, the most common prevalent approach to mortal life is that life is about self. It starts with survival, then acquisition, getting as much as you can, achievement, feeling satisfied and accomplished, self-expression and self-actualization, all about self. succeeding at money and at romance and at sex and at family and at business, having fun, seeing places and doing things that are entertaining and enjoyable, and then thinking of oneself as being moral, on the right side of things, ethical, fair, just, and conforming to, or perhaps in some situations desiring to shatter and rebel against the social, ethnic, cultural, religious expectations of other people, and then to be thought of and think of ourselves as being good. This is the life of, that's all about self. This is the way, a approach to the raging nations and the vain imagination obsessed peoples. Life is about self, survival, acquisition, achievement, self-expression, self-actualization, success in money, success in romance, success in sex, success in family, success in having fun, being seen as moral, thinking of themselves as more moral than other people, more ethical than other people, more fair, more just than other people, either conforming to or shattering social, ethnic, cultural, religious expectations, and being thought of and thinking of ourselves as good. It's all about us. That's the way of the nations. The second approach to life, the one we're called to have, is when life is about the mission. Life is about what the Creator says it's about. Life is about collaborating with the Creator and His covenant people to strategically advance the grand, redemptive, restorative plan across geography and regions, across countries and nations, across ethnicities and cultural lines, across time, namely across generations. This is the way of the covenant. Life is about the mission. Which of the two approaches to mortal life are you taking? Which is your signature way? I encourage you to rethink the way of the nations. It is a way that leads nowhere, in a circle that leads back with death and destruction and decay. But the way of the covenant leads to life and health and peace. Keep your eyes fixed on things above and the plan and the protocols of the Holy One. So, we are going to learn about a place that we're going to go called the Hashemayim realm, the heavenly, the first, the second, the third heaven, the Chaye Olam, the unseen realm. We're supposed to have communion with someone that's there behind that veil in the beauty realm in the company of cherubim, seraphim, living creatures, elders, ancients, angelic host, Michael, Gabriel. So here we are, the Mishkan Discourse. The first thing we hear is a call to Terumah. Take in hand from me a Terumah. What is a Terumah? Well, I think in your King James Version and subsequent English translations of this ancient Hebrew text and the very Creator speak of the Holy One, they translate that as offering. Take for me an offering. And immediately, I would presume, if you're like me, a whole theology of offerings comes into play here. A man-made theology of offerings. Ideas, ideation that comes with human ideas of what an offering should look like. Perhaps, could we lay that aside for a while? Could we not go down that rat trap? Could we instead ask the Holy One, but what exactly are you talking about? If I could lay aside my concepts of offering and go back to the idea that you told us to take, a terumah, what exactly is a terumah? Let's look at the Hebrew word. Terumah starts with a tav, a T sound, t, and then the main part of the word is the verb in the center, which is rum, terum, and then it's a feminine side, a responsive side at the end. Terumah, your ta is your elevation, your rising. The rum is to cause to achieve buoyancy and get above other things. So take that which causes you to rise up above and be responsive to the voice of the Creator. Take something that will be in tune with the frequency and the harmony and the message and the tone of the Creator. take that which is closest aligned on earth into that realm so that the two can connect and we can make this portal and build this bridge. You see the difference between an offering, as the world and the Western world especially think of it, and a terumah. The Holy One wants us to elevate, not to give him something. He's not in need. He's not lacking something. He's not hurting for animals or for food, for gold or silver or bronze. He doesn't need any of that stuff. We need to bring things that we know are tuned to his will and his kingdom. So the call for the Terumah. And we are to build then a mikdash, a place. What is a mikdash? A mikdash is a flowing place of Kedusha energy, where the energy, the light of his countenance, the light of the Holy One's countenance permeates, and where it awakens, and where it energizes and empowers and inspires, to build a place where that can take place, where it's not like the rest of the world, where there's a separation that we can tell. We feel a total difference in the realm that we're in when we enter that place. Build a mikdash, and I will shekan, I will dwell, he said. The Holy One promised to come to reach the affinity barrier and dwell in some form down here upon the earth with us, amongst us, in us even. And then he lists out the workstations, the three chambers. The first heaven chamber, the first heaven chamber is what? The courts, the outer courts. That is where we know we're in a different place, but we're only at the first level of being in a different place. We enter through the way, the veil that separates the tabernacle structure from the rest of the camp. We realize we've entered into a different kind of an atmosphere and environment. We've touched the first level of holiness, the first heaven. But then we see in the center of the tent and of the tabernacle structure, there's a tent, and in that tent we know is another atmosphere altogether, and that's the second heaven. It's kind of like corresponding to the mountain, the place on the mountain where the 74 went up and saw the feet of the Holy One on the sapphire foundation, and ate and drank in his presence, and we're not harmed. So that's the second level heaven. The third level, the third chamber, the third realm of this building is going to be the innermost chamber, the Holy of Holies, as it's called, Kadosh Kedoshim, as in Hebrew it's called, this place where the actual dwelling, shekaning of the Holy One takes place. Yeah, the third heaven, that would be to say. So then it gives us the list of the workstations. The first workstation. And each workstation is very important. It's not just a matter of obeying a bunch of rules here. This is not a ceremonial law. This is designed, he knows what needs to be healed and the protocol and the order in which that stuff needs to be healed. So he says, I want you to build an ark, an aron. Now, aron is a Hebrew word, you hear at the beginning, aron. Aron, the nun sophit, the end sound at the end, means it's a personification or an ultimate form, sophit form of the ar. What's ar? Well, the root word is the same as that for which we get light. So this is a light chamber. To build the ultimate light chamber, the place where light intersects and like a prism begins to cast out color and different frequencies of light. Well, this idea, the ark is not just a physical structure, although it has physical dimensions and physical substances, gold, shittim wood, which is a special kind of wood that mostly corresponds with the heavenly realm. And so we have these different factors, but it is designed to be a workstation for us. And what's in the ark? What's the work of the ark? Putting the tablets of the testimony, the 10 words and the Torah, in outline form at least, into the ark. This place of light emanation is an energy from heaven processing through these 10 words, the 10 instructions, the 10 healing mechanisms of life to divine who we really are. That is to be at the epicenter of our camp, the epicenter of our lives, Torah and light corresponding, working themselves in us, healing us of all the things that are inconsistent with that light and with that Torah. The second thing we're to build is the cover over it. And the cover is to be in the shape of the cherubs, two cherubs, and all they're facing one another, and their wings are spread out, and they're made of one piece of solid gold. And we see it in the physical realm. And we say, what does this mean? Oh, what does it mean? And now we realize, remember the Garden of Eden. And we had to go, what was guarding the way to the tree of life? What is between us and the tree of life? We have to go through the cherub. We have to go through the cherub with the flaming sword. And now he's put his flaming sword down, and he's welcomed us into his chambers if we would just honor and guard his Torah. Well, there we are. So now we have the next one is a banqueting table. In the second chamber, in the second heaven chamber of the tabernacle, so we're going to have the second workstation. And that workstation is a table on which is going to be laid out bread every Sabbath day. It's reminding us of the Sabbath, like the manna reminded us of the Sabbath because it came for 6 days, and on the seventh day we had none. We had to restore upon the sixth day. So it is a similar reminder of the Sabbath, seventh-day Sabbath, of this banqueting table. And we understand that will we surrender at this table? Will we be healed of our materialism and our appetites and our urges? Will we allow our hearts and our minds to be satisfied with what he has provided for us? We understand there is meat to eat that people know not of, that the people of the raging nations and the peoples that imagine things do not understand. That meat is to do the will of the Holy One, our Father, the banqueting table workstation. Then we have the third workstation it's the lampstand, the menorah, the golden menorah. And there's 7 candlesticks, 7 burning candlesticks of olive oil burning that must be constantly tended and kept pure and kept shining. And this lampstand is our workstation where we accept the light of the Holy One and begin to reflect and also begin vessels of that light in the world. They don't just absorb light. We begin to emit light and be light bearers as well as light receivers. The workstation. If we're going to be healed and if we're going to fulfill the will of the Holy One in this world, if we're going to be mission-oriented, we must learn the secrets of the lampstand. And then we have the veils and the outer court materials. And we see these beautiful colors of reds and blue, techelet, and a purple argamum. And we understand there's something happening. These colors are most like the colors that we would see in the heavenly realm. There's the earth's closest version of those colors. And we see that each one of those is a fragment of light that goes through a prism, and you see the colors beginning to come out in the spectrum, and he pulls certain colors out, says, these are the ones I want you to surround yourself with. These will prepare you to deal with the Creator of the universe and his glory and his realm. And then we see the final workstation that we talk about this week, and we'll cover a couple more next week in Parsha Tetzaveh. The final workstation we deal with is the brazen altar. What is the brazen altar about? It's the place of fire. It's the place where we surrender ourselves, our lives, everything that we have, and is valuable to us. This is a workstation. Until we can do that, we're unable to receive from the Holy One all that he wishes to give. Beloved, that's the story of Parsha Terumah. There are so many ways we could go at this study. I'm going to leave that mostly to you and to your small groups, as you may have them in your individual studies. But just remember this, the Holy One is calling you to do 3 things. Take for him a Terumah. What will it take to get you elevated, to get you to a place of buoyancy, to get you to a place where you can get away from the things of the world, separate yourself from the things and the draws and the pulls of the flesh and the pseudo-intellect, and get in tune with him. Second thing all you do is to build for him a mikdash, make a place for him, make a sacred space for him. He wants to be with you. He cares about you. He doesn't want to come to judge you. He wants to come to cleanse and purify and heal and inspire you and awaken you to your mission and your purpose and destiny. The third thing is meet with him. Meet with him in these holy places, in these workstations. Meet with him and let him speak to you and let him charge you and inspire you and teach you the ways of his kingdom, how to operate in this world. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I certainly have. I look forward to seeing you next week when we discuss Parshat Tetzaveh. Until then, Shabbat Shalom. See you next week.